Hi there, I'm Ada, your English teacher. Do you want to speak with confidence, lose the fear, and sound natural? Stay with me, because in this channel, English is not just a subject, it's your superpower.
I want you to close your eyes for a second. Well, unless you're driving, of course.
Yeah, please keep your eyes open if you're driving.
Right, safety first. But I want you to just imagine waking up and the sunlight hitting your face. It isn't coming through a normal glass window.
Not at all.
Right. Instead, the wall next to your bed is this smart membrane, and it has been tracking your sleep cycles all night long.
Every single phase of your sleep.
Exactly. It knows exactly when you enter that very lightest phase of sleep, and so it slowly turns from a dark, solid color to totally clear.
Just fading into glass.
Yeah. Letting the morning sun in, just gradually enough to wake you up without any sudden shock, no loud alarms, and then you sit up and you hear a very soft hum.
Like a tiny bee.
Right, like a distant bee. And a small drone glides right into your bedroom through a vent. And it's carrying your breakfast.
And this isn't just any breakfast.
No, it's not just toast. It is perfectly matched to your exact DNA. It knows exactly what your body needs today, based on what you ate yesterday.
It's totally personalized nutrition.
Yeah. So you finish your meal, you step out onto your balcony, and a quiet flying electric car just pulls right up, ready to whisk you away to your morning meeting.
I mean, it really sounds like a scene from a science fiction movie, right?
It totally does.
But we need to be clear. This isn't fiction. This is the actual reality we're moving toward. And it's going to happen so much faster than most people realize.
Welcome to our deep dive. I am so glad you are here with us today, because today our mission is a time travel adventure.
We are going to the future.
We are. We are going to answer one massive question. What will your exact day-to-day life actually look like in the year 2050?
It's a huge topic.
It is. We are going to give you a complete roadmap of this future today. We'll explore, how artificial intelligence will run our giant cities.
How we will learn new things.
Yeah, and the wild new ways we will travel and how we'll stay connected to our friends.
And we really want to make this clear to you right from the start. The leap from today to the year 2050, it is massive.
It's like, well, think about taking someone who only knows how to ride in a horse-drawn carriage.
Right.
And suddenly you just hand them a modern smartphone with high-speed internet.
Their mind would be blown.
Totally blown. That is the scale of the change we're talking about here. It's an exponential leap. So it's going to be a wild ride.
But to really understand it, we have to take it step by step. We have to break it down.
Yeah, keep it simple. So let's go back to that morning routine you just imagined. You wake up in your bed. Let's talk about the house you're waking up in.
The 2050 home.
Right, because your home in 2050, it isn't just a building made of, dead wood and bricks. It's a smart home. And when we say smart, we mean it's almost alive.
Exactly. Because the foundation of this new life is something we call the Internet of Things.
The IoT.
Right. And by 2050, I mean our best ideas show that 95% of all electronics in your house will be connected to the internet, but more importantly, connected to each other.
See, when I think of a smart home today, I just think of a light bulb I can turn on with my phone.
That's very basic.
Yeah, it's basic, but a 95% connection rate means your whole house is basically talking to itself.
It's having a conversation.
Right. Your bed tells your shower that you are awake, so the shower just turns on automatically and sets the water to your perfect temperature.
Right. And then while you were in the shower notes how long you usually take.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it tells the coffee maker exactly when to start brewing. So your coffee is perfectly hot the exact second you step into the kitchen.
It's just a seamless flow of data. But, the really fascinating part to me isn't just the electronics inside the house.
No, it's the structure itself.
Yeah, it's how the house itself is built. Because a lot of these homes won't be built by human hands at all. They will be 3D printed by machines.
Which is incredible to think about.
I have always found 3D printing amazing. You know, you start with a digital blueprint on a computer and a machine just builds it out of nothing.
Layer by layer.
Right. But scaling that up to a whole house. Let's explain how that actually works mechanically for you listening.
Sure. So think of a standard small desktop 3D printer that makes little plastic toys.
Like the ones kids use.
Exactly. It melts a thin plastic string and squeezes it out through a hot nozzle. And it just draws a shape layer by layer from the bottom up.
Right.
Well, a 3D house printer works the exact same way, but on a massive, massive scale.
So instead of a little plastic string.
Instead of plastic, you have this giant robot arm, and it squeezes out a special mixture of really advanced, quick-drying concrete.
So it is literally just drawing the walls and the ground layer by thick layer, like stacking thick layers of toothpaste until it forms a tall wall.
That is a really great visual, toothpaste.
Yeah.
And because a machine is doing it, you know, there are basically no mistakes.
No measuring tape error.
Exactly. There's no wasted material at all. And a robot doesn't need to take a lunch break.
Right. It can just go all night.
It can print a beautiful, perfectly insulated house in a matter of just a few days. And because of this, I estimate this process will make building a home up to 60% cheaper.
Wow, 60%.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. That is a total game changer for you, the listener. Imagine buying a brand new, custom-designed home for less than half of what it costs today.
It makes housing so much more accessible.
It really does. But the convenience doesn't stop with just the walls. Let's talk about what happens inside the house because, well, we all hate doing chores.
Oh, absolutely. Vacuuming, doing the laundry, scrubbing dishes.
It takes up so much time. But in 2050, robots and drones will handle like 90% of those household chores. You will have an AI robotic chef right in your kitchen.
And we need to be clear, this isn't just a machine that heats up frozen pizza.
No microwaves here.
Right. This robotic chef will have mechanical arms with incredibly precise, delicate sensors.
Delicate enough to hold an egg.
Exactly. It can crack an egg without breaking the yolk inside. It can chop vegetables perfectly.
Yeah.
And it can follow recipes from all over the world, cooking your meals exactly to your personal taste.
Okay, so let's unpack this for a second. Let's look at the big picture. If the robot builds the house and the drone cleans the house and the AI chef cooks all the food.
Which they will.
Right. I am looking at my own day right now, and I am realizing a huge amount of my time is spent just keeping my life running, doing these chores.
Technical tasks.
Yeah, survival tasks. If all of that goes away, what does that actually mean for my work life?
Well, this is where we see a massive shift in human society. Your work life will change drastically.
Also?
Automation. You know, having machines do the hard work is going to drop the average working hours by about 25%.
Okay, so a quarter of our work disappears.
Right. So right now, a lot of people work around 2,100 hours a year. That's a standard long work week.
Which is exhausting.
It is. In 2050, that number will drop to about 1,600 hours a year.
Okay, so we work much less. But wait, I have to ask. If we work 25% less, doesn't the global economy crash? Like, don't we produce less stuff?
No, and that is the beauty of it. The economy will actually grow.
How does that work?
Because the artificial intelligence is taking over the boring, slow, repetitive tasks.
Oh, I see.
Think about an office worker today. They might spend, say, 4 hours just copying numbers from one spreadsheet to another, or organizing 100 very basic emails.
I have definitely had days like that.
We all have. But an AI can do that entire 4-hour spreadsheet job in about 3 seconds.
So human productivity isn't lost at all. It's just relocated. We stop acting like slow human calculators.
Exactly. Because AI handles the heavy processing, human productivity will actually surge. I mean, we see it growing by up to 5.7%.
Wow. So we do less busy work, but get more done.
Yes. Humans will be freed up to do what machines simply cannot do well. We will focus entirely on high-level creativity.
Right. Painting, writing, designing.
Yes. And deep strategic thinking. And emotional empathy. You won't be managing data anymore. You will be managing human relationships and big ideas.
I see the logic there, I really do. But I have to push back a little here, just to play devil's advocate.
Go for it.
Let's really think about what this means for you, the person actually living this life in 2050. If a robot cleans my house, a robot cooks my food, and an AI writes all my work reports, what do I actually do all day?
That is the big question.
Am I just a pet to my smart house? Are we all just going to sit on the couch while the machines take care of us like we're little lap dogs?
It's a funny image, but no, you definitely won't be a pet. You will be liberated.
Liberated.
Yes. Think about it. For centuries, human beings have defined themselves by their struggle. What do you do for a living?
That is the very first question we ask when we meet someone new.
Exactly. Our identity is tied to our labor. But when machines do the heavy lifting, the relationship between work and human identity fundamentally changes.
That's a huge psychological shift. If I'm no longer just a spreadsheet manager, then who am I?
You are a creator. You are a parent. You are a student of life.
I like the sound of that.
Imagine a morning where your home's AI has analyzed your schedule. And it knows you don't have to do any busy work today.
Sounds like a dream.
Right. So it prepares a daily plan that actually prioritizes your mental health. It gives you 3 hours in the morning for creative hobbies.
Wow.
It schedules time for you to paint or to learn how to play the guitar or just to go for a long walk in the park.
It gives you the time and energy to actually spend deep, meaningful hours with your family.
Precisely. Instead of being exhausted from work.
I love that perspective. Instead of making us lazy, the technology actually gives us our humanity back. It gives us our time.
Time is the ultimate luxury.
It really is. Okay, so I wake up, the house has cleaned itself, my robotic chef made a perfect breakfast, and I've spent the morning working on a beautiful painting.
The perfect morning.
Now it's time to leave the house and go out into the world. Let's step outside. And this is where the sheer unbelievable scale of the year 2050 really hits you.
The scale is truly massive. We really have to look at the numbers to understand it.
Give us the numbers.
By 2050, there will be nearly 10 billion people living on planet Earth.
10 billion.
Yes. And over 70% of those people will live in cities.
10 billion people. And 70% of them packed into cities. That means our cities have to grow into something we've never, ever seen before.
They will become megacities.
Right, megacities. And just so we are clear, a megacity is defined as an urban center with a population of over 10 million people.
Right. We have a few today, like Tokyo, New York, Mexico City.
But in 2050, we will see dozens and dozens of these giant metropolises spanning all across the globe.
And to manage 10 or 20 million people in one single space, the city cannot just be a dumb collection of concrete and steel anymore.
It would just collapse under its own weight.
Absolutely. The traffic would be totally impossible. The waste would be unmanageable. Therefore, the city itself must become a fully integrated digital network.
Okay, explain how that works on a practical level. If you are walking down the street in 2050, what does a digital network city actually look like?
Well, it looks invisible.
Yeah.
But you feel the incredible smoothness of it everywhere you go.
Give me an example.
Let's look at traffic lights. Today, traffic lights mostly run on a very simple timer.
Right. They turn red for 60 seconds, then green for 60 seconds.
It's a dumb system. You might sit at a red light in the middle of the night with no other cars around at all, just waiting for the timer.
I hate when that happens. It's so frustrating.
Exactly. But in 2050, algorithms run the entire traffic grid in real time. Cameras and sensors track every single vehicle on the road.
So the AI knows where everyone is.
Yes. And the AI adjusts the lights second by second. So you will never stop at a red light if there's no cross traffic. The city reacts to you.
That sounds incredibly efficient. And what about basic city services like garbage collection?
It is the exact same principle. Think about how we do it today. A big, noisy garbage truck drives down every single street every Tuesday, checking every single bin.
Wasting huge amounts of fuel.
Exactly. In a smart city, every single trash bin has a tiny cheap sensor inside it.
Okay.
The sensor just measures how full the bin is. And when it's full, the bin sends a message to the city's central AI saying, "Hello, I am 100% full.
So the bin talks to the city.
Yes. And the AI then draws a perfectly optimized map for the garbage trucks every morning. So they only drive to the specific bins that actually need emptying.
Wow.
It saves massive amounts of time. And it cuts city pollution and emissions drastically.
Let me try to wrap my head around this with an analogy, because I want you listeners to really picture this.
Go ahead.
It sounds like the smart city of 2050 is basically just a giant human body.
I like that.
The physical roads and the power cables, those are the veins and the arteries.
Right.
And the millions of sensors and the trash cans and the traffic lights, those are the nervous system, constantly sending feeling and feedback to the center.
Yes.
And the central artificial intelligence is the brain, taking all that data, keeping the heart beating, and making sure the whole body stays healthy and balanced.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. The brain of the city keeps the blood flowing. It adapts to the weather.
It knows if it's raining.
Exactly. It monitors air pollution levels, and it actually reroutes traffic automatically to keep the air clean in specific neighborhoods.
That's amazing.
And importantly, the buildings in this city are also part of this living organism.
How so?
Well, the buildings won't just consume energy, they will produce it.
Wait, how does an apartment building produce power? Does everyone have, like, a big windmill on their balcony?
No, not windmills. We're talking about incredibly advanced solar technology.
Oh, solar panels.
But not the ones you know today. Today, solar panels are these big, bulky, dark rectangles you have to bolt onto a roof.
Right, they're pretty ugly.
In 2050, the very materials the building is made of will harvest energy.
What do you mean, like the concrete?
Mostly the glass. The glass windows of a giant skyscraper will be completely transparent, just like normal windows, but they will be coated in microscopic solar cells.
So you can see right through them.
Yes, but they are generating electricity just from the sun hitting the glass.
That is brilliant. Every window is a power plant.
Exactly. And because of this, the total demand for energy from the city's main grid will drop by about 30%. The building feeds itself.
Okay, so the city is alive, it's efficient, and it's powered by its own windows. But we still need to move around inside it.
We do.
We need to travel from our apartment to the theater or to a friend's house. And here's where it gets really interesting for your day-to-day life.
Transportation is completely reimagined.
Right. The cars on the street will not look or act like anything we drive today.
For one thing, there won't be any steering wheels.
No steering wheels at all.
None. You won't find a gas pedal, and you won't find a brake pedal. We are moving to fully autonomous level 5 electric cars.
Great, let's define level 5 very simply so we're completely clear on what that means.
Good idea.
Because today, we have cars with like level 2 or level 3 autonomy. They can stay in their lane on the highway, maybe adjust their speed, but a human has to sit there.
Right, with their hands on the wheel.
Ready to take over if the computer gets confused by a weird shadow on the road or a construction detour.
Exactly. That's level 2 or 3. But level 5 means that the car can drive itself in absolutely any condition. Heavy rain, blinding snowstorms, complicated, messy city intersections, even unmapped dirt roads.
And it requires zero human help.
Zero human intervention. You just sit in the back, tell it where you want to go, and it handles the rest.
And because human error is completely removed from the equation, the way cars behave on the road will change, right?
Dramatically.
I've been thinking about this concept called platooning. Can you explain how platooning works mechanically?
Platooning is a brilliant solution to traffic congestion. Think about why we have traffic jams today.
Usually because people are braking too much.
Right. Because humans have very slow reaction times, we have to leave a lot of space between our car and the car in front of us.
Sure. If we don't and they slam on the brakes, we crash.
Exactly. But an AI car doesn't have a slow human reaction time. It reacts in a fraction of a single millisecond.
Because the computer is so fast.
Yes. So an autonomous car is actually communicating directly, wirelessly, with all the cars around it.
So they are talking to each other?
Thousands of times a second. So on a highway, 10 cars will group together, and they will drive just inches apart from each other at high speed.
Just inches. That sounds terrifying.
For a human, yes.
Yeah.
But for AI, it's perfect. They move as one single flexible unit, like a high-speed train, but without any physical tracks.
Oh, I see.
If the very front car detects a hazard and applies the brakes, every single car in that 10-car line applies the exact same amount of braking force at the exact same millisecond.
It's like a flock of birds moving together perfectly in the sky.
That is exactly what it is.
And the physics behind this is amazing. I mean, by driving that close together, the cars draft off each other.
Like race cars do.
Right. The front car breaks the wind resistance, and all the cars behind it just glide easily through the slipstream.
And that reduces aerodynamic drag so much that it actually saves about 10% on battery power and fuel.
That's huge. And obviously, it completely eliminates those phantom traffic jams caused by people just braking for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. It is safer, it is much faster, and it is highly efficient. But, you are not just stuck on the ground.
This is my favorite part.
As cities get denser, we have to use the sky. This is where we bring in the flying cars we mentioned earlier.
Flying cars. It is the ultimate sci-fi dream. We've wanted them forever. But we are not talking about, like, a regular sedan with jet engines strapped to the doors, right?
No. The technical term for these is an eVTOL.
eVTOL. What does that stand for?
It stands for Electric Vertical Takeoff and Landing Vehicle.
Got it.
Imagine a very sleek, beautiful, enclosed drone, large enough to hold 4 people very comfortably inside.
Okay.
It has multiple electric rotors on top, so it lifts straight up into the air, exactly like a helicopter.
But without the deafening noise of a helicopter, because helicopters are incredibly loud.
Precisely. Because they use distributed electric propulsion, which just means many small, quiet electric motors instead of one giant, loud combustion engine. They're almost silent.
So you could step into one at a little launch pad in your suburb.
Yes. It rises silently into the air, and it flies you directly over all the surface roads, straight into the downtown area.
Bypassing all the traffic.
A commute that would take an hour in today's messy traffic will take exactly 10 minutes in 2050.
I really want you to picture yourself doing this. You step into this quiet, smooth glass pod. There is no driver.
Just you.
You just sit back in a very comfortable seat, you sip your hot coffee, and you look out the window. You are gliding 1,000 feet above the city.
Watching this sunrise.
There's no honking, there's no road rage, it's peaceful, it's calm. It changes the entire emotional experience of traveling.
It makes travel a joy again. And for even longer trips, between these giant megacities, we won't rely just on airplanes.
Right.
We will use Hyperloop networks.
Okay, the Hyperloop. This is a concept that sounds almost like magic until you break down the actual mechanics of it. Explain how a Hyperloop actually works for us.
Sure. It solves the 2 biggest problems of fast travel: wind resistance and friction.
Oh.
The Hyperloop is a massive steel tube that connects 2 major cities. Giant vacuum pumps suck almost all the air out of the tube.
So there's no air inside.
Right. It creates an environment very similar to the deep vacuum of space. And inside this airless tube, there's a passenger pod.
But the pod doesn't have wheels, right? Because
Yeah.
wheels create friction against a track.
Correct. The pod uses magnetic levitation. Powerful electromagnets push the pod up, so it's literally floating in the middle of the tube.
It isn't touching the walls or the floor at all.
Not touching anything.
Mm.
So you have a pod floating on magnets inside a tube with absolutely no air. That means there is almost 0 friction and 0 air resistance.
And because there is nothing pushing back against the pod, you just give it a tiny push with an electric motor and it shoots forward at unimaginable speeds.
Incredible speeds.
We are talking 600 or 700 miles per hour. You could travel from a city like Los Angeles to San Francisco in under 45 minutes.
It's basically teleportation.
That is a trip that takes 6 hours of driving today.
It completely shrinks the map. You could live in Los Angeles, take a Hyperloop to San Francisco for a quick lunch meeting, and be back home on your couch before dinner.
It redefines where people can live and work.
It truly does.
It is an incredible vision of the future. We have these smart homes taking care of all our chores, smart cities flowing like a living nervous system, and we are flying quietly through the sky or shooting through vacuum tubes.
Sounds perfect.
It does. But as amazing as all this technology is, it doesn't mean anything if we can't solve the most basic, fundamental problem of human survival.
Which is, how do we feed 10 billion people?
Exactly. This is the big hurdle. To feed 10 billion people by the year 2050, we calculate that the world is going to need 70% more food than we produce today.
70% more. That is a staggering amount.
It is, but we have a massive physical limitation. Traditional farming uses way too much land. It takes acres and acres of flat, open soil just to grow wheat or tomatoes.
And worse than that, it uses way too much fresh water.
Right.
We are literally running out of arable land, which is land that is actually good for farming.
Yeah.
And we can't just keep cutting down forests to make more farms because that destroys the climate.
So we are stuck.
We have to rethink farming entirely. We have to bring the farm into the city.
And this brings us to the vertical farm. This is one of my absolute favorite concepts. Instead of spreading crops out horizontally across thousands of acres of countryside, we build upwards.
We build skyscrapers.
Exactly. Skyscrapers dedicated entirely to growing food.
Imagine walking down a busy, crowded city street in 2050. You were surrounded by tall, glass, office buildings and apartments. And right in the middle of the block is a stunning 30-story building completely filled with lush green plants.
It would look beautiful.
Every single floor is a highly advanced farm.
And the mechanics of this are brilliant. It's not just, dirt in pots on a balcony.
No dirt at all.
They use hydroponics or aeroponics. The roots of the plants aren't in soil. They are suspended in water or just hanging in the air.
And a mist of perfectly balanced nutrients is sprayed directly onto the roots.
Because it's indoors, the climate is perfectly controlled by the building's artificial intelligence.
The AI does everything. It adjusts the temperature, the humidity, and even the specific spectrum of LED light hitting the leaves.
Which means, theoretically, you can grow a perfect summer tomato in the middle of a freezing winter blizzard.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what the weather is doing outside at all. The crops just grow 365 days a year.
And if we think about the logistics of that, this completely revolutionizes the supply chain.
How so?
Well, today, traditional farms lose a massive amount of water. They spray water onto a big open field, and a lot of it just evaporates into the hot air or runs off into the rivers.
It's very wasteful.
Vertical farms recycle their water in a closed loop. They capture the moisture the plants release into the air, they condense it back into water, and they use it again.
Oh, that's smart.
They use up to 90% less water than a traditional farm.
Plus, we save incredible amounts of money and pollution on transportation.
Think about the journey of an apple today.
Right. An apple might be picked in one country, put on a diesel truck, driven 1,000 miles to a cold warehouse, put on another truck, and then driven to your local grocery store.
By the time you eat it, it is covered in a massive carbon footprint from all that travel.
But in 2050, the food is grown exactly where it is eaten. It goes from the 15th floor of the vertical farm building straight to your apartment on the 10th floor.
0 miles traveled.
This changes the entire dynamic of city living. The skyscraper goes from being this sterile, boring, concrete block to a vibrant community hub.
Brings life back into the building.
Picture this scenario. You come home from work, you take the elevator down to the communal farming level of your building.
It's a warm, bright, incredibly green space.
Yeah. And you run into your neighbors, you chat about your day, and together you are picking fresh, incredibly crisp vegetables right off the vine for your dinner.
It connects people back to nature and back to each other.
It is really beautiful. But wait, I have to play the skeptic here again.
Go for it.
Vegetables are great. I love a fresh salad. But people love protein.
That is true.
People love hamburgers and chicken and steaks. You cannot put a herd of grazing cattle on the 20th floor of a glass skyscraper.
You absolutely cannot do that. And frankly, traditional livestock farming is one of the biggest drivers of greenhouse gases in the world.
Cows produce a lot of methane.
Massive amounts of the methane. They require huge amounts of land just for grazing and millions of gallons of water for drinking.
So to feed 10 billion people meat the old-fashioned way?
It would literally destroy the planet's atmosphere. We can't do it.
So what's the solution? Do we all just become strict vegetarians in 2050?
Not necessarily. The solution is cultured meat.
Cultured meat.
Yes. This is meat grown in a laboratory setting without slaughtering any animals.
Now, I really want to be clear here because when people hear the phrase lab-grown meat, they think of fake meat.
Right, like a veggie burger.
Yeah, they think of a patty made from soy or pea protein squeezed together to look like a burger. That is not what we are talking about, is it?
No, not at all. Cultured meat is biologically real animal meat. It is exactly the same as the meat from a cow on a cellular level.
Okay, so how do you make a steak without a cow? Walk us through the exact mechanics of that process.
It starts with a tiny, totally painless sample of cells from a living, healthy animal.
Let's say a cow.
Right, a cow. A scientist takes a swab of muscle stem cells, and the cow just walks away, totally unharmed and happy.
Great.
Those cells are then placed into a device called a bioreactor.
I like to think of a bioreactor like a giant, clean steel brewing tank. Very similar to what you would see in a beer brewery.
Exactly. Inside this big tank is a warm, nutrient-rich broth. It contains sugars, amino acids, and vitamins. Basically everything a cell needs to grow.
And because the cells are in the perfect environment, they do what they naturally do, right?
Yes, they multiply. They grow into actual muscle tissue and fat.
Wow.
After a few weeks in the tank, you have a real piece of meat. You can grow a perfect marbled T-bone steak without ever harming a single animal.
And because it is literally cow muscle, it tastes exactly the same, it cooks exactly the same, and it has the exact same nutritional profile.
But the impact on the earth is completely different. Cultured meat uses 99% less land, 90% less water, and produces almost zero methane emissions.
It's clean, efficient, and highly scalable.
It completely decouples meat production from environmental destruction.
Yeah.
But we have to address another challenge here.
What's that?
Well, vertical farming solves the space issue. Cultured meat solves the livestock issue. But what about the hardiness of the crops?
Meaning how tough they are.
Right. As the climate changes and global temperatures rise, how do we guarantee that we can grow enough resilient food to actually eliminate world hunger?
This brings us to a fascinating and maybe slightly controversial topic. Genetic technology.
Specifically, tools like CRISPR.
Yes. To understand this, I always like to think of CRISPR as a pair of highly advanced digital scissors for DNA.
That is a very accurate metaphor. All living things, plants, animals, humans, have DNA.
The code of life.
Right. DNA is the master instruction manual for how an organism should grow, how it looks, and how it behaves.
And for all of human history, if we wanted a better plant, we had to rely on nature.
We had to wait.
We had to plant thousands of seeds, wait for them to grow, hope one naturally mutated to be a little stronger, and then breed that one over and over. It took decades or centuries.
But with genetic technology like CRISPR, we don't have to wait for random evolution anymore.
We take control.
Yes, we can literally open the instruction manual, find a specific line of code that we don't like, and use the digital scissors to just cut it out.
And then we can paste in a new, better line of code.
Exactly.
Let's give a real-world example of how this works so it's super clear. Let's look at a potato.
A simple potato.
A normal potato needs a certain amount of water to grow. If there's a severe drought, the potato plant gets stressed, it withers, and it dies.
The crop fails, and people go hungry.
But with CRISPR, scientists can go straight into the potato's DNA. They find the specific gene, the line of code that tells the plant to wilt when it's dry.
And they snip it right out.
Then they can insert a gene from, say, a desert plant, a plant that already knows how to survive with almost zero water.
The result is a completely drought-resistant potato. We can do the exact same thing for heat. We can design crops that thrive in extreme boiling temperatures.
We can even change the genetics to make the plant naturally resistant to insects.
Which is huge.
Which means we wouldn't need to spray our fields with millions of gallons of toxic chemical pesticides anymore. The plant just defends itself biologically.
Exactly. By changing the genetics of food, we bypass biological stress from bugs and disease, and we bypass environmental stress from droughts and heat waves.
And when crops never fail, the supply of food just skyrockets.
It creates abundance.
When there is a massive abundance of high-quality, highly nutritious food everywhere, the cost of that food drops down to almost nothing.
And this is the mechanism by which we finally eliminate world hunger.
That is incredible.
And we must pause to consider the profound geopolitical impact of this. Think about human history for a moment. So many wars, so much human suffering has been driven purely by a lack of resources.
Wars over fertile land.
Wars over access to clean water and grain. When every country in the world, no matter how hot or dry, has the technology to grow infinite amounts of tough, perfect food, that friction disappears.
Food security brings global security. A well-fed world is a stable world.
It really is.
It's a very inspiring thought, but I have to bring us back down to earth for a second because I know what people listening are probably thinking.
What's that?
If I'm listening to this, I might feel a little uneasy. Digital scissors, cutting up the DNA of my food. It sounds like playing God.
I hear that a lot.
It sounds like a horror sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will be deeply suspicious of eating hacked vegetables.
That fear is completely natural. Humans are biologically wired to be cautious about what they consume, and we should be cautious.
Right.
But we have to look at the reality of the choices we will face by 2050. Human genetic editing will remain heavily regulated. We won't be casually rewriting human DNA for fun.
But agricultural DNA.
That's different. Imagine a region where climate change has caused a 5-year drought. Traditional farming has completely collapsed. Millions of families are facing starvation.
A terrible situation.
In that scenario, a genetically edited, heat-resistant potato isn't viewed as a creepy science experiment. It is viewed as a necessary miracle.
It is the tool that saves millions of lives.
Exactly. The fear the technology will fade very quickly when the alternative is starvation.
That makes perfect sense. When it is a matter of pure survival, we embrace the tools we have.
We always have.
Okay, so we have solved the health of the planet. We've solved the health of our food supply. Now let's zoom in on the most personal thing of all. Your own body.
Your personal health.
Let's talk about the healthcare revolution of 2050.
The advancements in medicine will be nothing short of astonishing.
Because of the better food, right?
Because of the better food, the cleaner air in the smart cities, and the removal of heavy physical labor, baseline human health will improve immensely.
So we will live longer.
Life expectancy will rise significantly. The global average could reach 83 years or even higher. It will become completely routine for people to live past 100 in excellent, vibrant health.
But it's not just that we are living longer, it is how we approach sickness itself.
A total paradigm shift.
Today, medicine is reactive. You feel a pain in your stomach, you wait a few days to see if it goes away. It gets worse, you go to the doctor, they run tests, and they try to fix whatever is broken.
It's all about fixing what's already broken.
In 2050, medicine will be entirely predictive and highly personalized. It will know you are getting sick long before you feel a single symptom.
And this brings us to a technology that sounds unbelievable, but is actually currently in development. Nanobots.
Nanobots. See, when I hear that word, I always picture a tiny metal submarine with a little propeller swimming through my veins like in an old science fiction movie.
A lot of people picture that.
But mechanically, that can't be right. What exactly is a nanobot, and what is it made of?
You're right, it is not a metal submarine. A nanobot is microscopic. It is actually smaller than a human red blood cell.
So you can't see it with a regular microscope.
Right. They're often built from synthetic proteins or highly engineered carbon molecules. They don't have propellers. They move by reacting to magnetic fields or by using natural chemical reactions in the blood to push themselves forward.
And how are they powered? You obviously can't put a battery in something that small.
They are powered by your own body.
Wow.
They harvest energy from your body heat, or they use the naturally occurring glucose, the sugar in your bloodstream, as fuel. By 2050, you could have millions of these nanobots swimming silently through your circulatory system.
Millions of them. What are they actually doing in there? Are they just exploring?
They are acting as a constant 247 internal security patrol.
Guarding you.
Yes. They are programmed to recognize your healthy baseline. They swim around looking for anomalies. They're looking for bad proteins that shouldn't be there. They're looking for the very first sign of a mutated cancer cell.
And let's say they find something. Let's say a single nanobot bumps into a cancer cell. What happens next?
Because there are millions of them, they use swarm intelligence, kind of like ants.
Okay.
The first nanobot sends out a microscopic chemical signal, or tiny radio frequency, and all the other nanobots swarm to the area.
They gang up on it.
They do. They can attach to the cancer cell and deliver a microscopic payload of medicine directly into that one specific cell, destroying it completely without harming any healthy tissue around it.
That means no more chemotherapy that destroys the whole body just to kill the cancer.
Exactly. It's
Right.
perfectly targeted. And it goes far beyond cancer. The nanobots constantly monitor your heart tissue and your blood pressure.
Preventing heart attacks.
Yes. They can detect the microscopic plaque buildup that causes a heart attack days or even weeks before an event happens.
So before you ever feel a tightness in your chest.
Long before that, the nanobots send a data alert to a patch on your skin, which relays it to your smartphone and your doctor's AI.
Wow, your blood literally sends you a text message saying, hey, we fixed a problem in your heart today.
It's preventive maintenance for your body.
And this technology goes beyond the bloodstream too. Let's talk about the brain. Neurological diseases like Alzheimer's, which slowly destroys memory, or Parkinson's, which destroys motor control.
Devastating diseases.
We are going to treat these with AI brain implants.
Yes. To understand this, we really have to think of the human brain as an electrical machine.
A biological computer.
Right. Our thoughts, our memories, our ability to move our arms, it's all just electrical signals firing along biological wires called neurons.
Okay.
When someone goes blind because of nerve damage, the eyes themselves might still work perfectly.
Right.
But the wire carrying the visual signal back to the brain is broken.
So the signal gets lost.
Exactly. So an AI microchip is implanted in the brain to act as a bridge.
Explain how the bridge works.
The implant intercepts the visual data from a camera, or from the eye itself. It translates it into the exact electrical language the brain understands, and it bypasses the broken nerve entirely, sending the signal directly into the visual cortex.
So the person can just see again.
It can see again.
And this interface works in reverse too. If the chip can send signals into the brain can send signals into the chip.
Yes, that is the most exciting part.
You will be able to control computers or smart robotic limbs simply by thinking about it. You won't need a keyboard or a mouse.
You just think, turn on the lights, and the AI in your smart home receives the thought and turns on the lights.
It creates a seamless connection between human intention and digital action. And to round out this healthcare revolution, we have to talk about major organ failure.
This is a huge breakthrough.
Today, if your liver fails, you are put on a waiting list. You just have to wait for someone else to die in a tragic accident so you can receive a donor organ.
It's a tragic system.
But in 2050, the waiting list is eliminated entirely.
Because we will use stem cells to just grow you a new one.
Tell us about stem cells.
Stem cells are basically like blank biological templates. Scientists will take a simple sample of your own skin cells, revert them back into blank stem cells, and then program them to become liver cells.
They rewrite the cell.
Yes, they will literally grow a brand new, perfectly healthy liver in a lab customized entirely from your own DNA.
And because it's your DNA, your body will never reject it.
Never, because it is exactly you.
This is a total philosophical shift in medicine.
Uh,
We're moving from a system of fixing you when you break to a system of preventing you from ever breaking in the first place.
it will change what it means to age.
It's amazing. Although I do have to laugh for a second.
Why is that?
Well, right now, my smartwatch vibrates and tells me to stand up if I've been sitting at my desk too long, and honestly, it's a little annoying.
We all ignore those alerts.
Exactly. In 2050, with all these internal monitors, is my bloodstream going to text me to say I ate too much salt at lunch?
It's a fair point. It can sound intrusive. But the goal is for it to be completely seamless and helpful, not annoying.
Give me an example of how it helps smoothly.
Imagine this scenario. You are at work. You feel perfectly fine. But your AI assistant, which is linked directly to your internal nanobots, notices a very slight change in your body temperature and your white blood cell count.
It spots the illness early.
It knows you have caught a flu virus, even though you haven't even sneezed yet.
But the AI is already taking action.
Exactly. It automatically orders a drone to deliver hot, nutrient-rich soup to your house.
Oh, that's nice.
It contacts your smart home and tells it to raise the temperature in your bedroom to keep you warm. And it quietly reschedules your in-person meetings for the next 3 days, changing them to virtual meetings, so you can rest without falling behind at work.
It takes care of you before you even know you need taken care of.
A silent, perfectly efficient guardian angel.
I love that. But you just mentioned virtual meetings, and this leads us perfectly into the next major area of life in 2050.
Yes, a very important area.
We have talked about where we live, how we travel, and how we stay healthy. Now, let's talk about how we learn, how we connect, and where we spend our digital time. Education and the metaverse.
Education in 2050 will be completely unrecognizable from the system we use today.
Because today's education is an industrial model.
Very industrial. You put 30 kids in a room, a human teacher stands at the front and delivers one standardized lesson to everyone at the exact same pace.
But every human brain is different.
Exactly. Some people learn visually by seeing charts and pictures. Some learn by listening. Some are kinesthetic, meaning they learn by actually doing things with their hands.
And a single human teacher simply can't adapt to 30 different brains all at once.
It's impossible. But an AI tutor can.
So in 2050, your teacher will be a highly advanced artificial intelligence.
Yes. This tutor will track exactly how you learn. It can read your micro-expressions through a camera. It knows when your eyes glaze over because you're confused.
It reads your face.
If you are struggling with a complex math concept, the AI instantly changes its teaching style. It tries a visual metaphor. If that doesn't work, it tries an interactive puzzle.
It adapts to you in real time until you achieve perfect understanding.
It ensures no one is left behind.
And education becomes totally global. You won't just learn from people in your own town. You will have access to the entire world because language barriers will no longer exist.
This is truly revolutionary. We will use universal translators.
Tell us how those work.
These will likely be tiny, comfortable earpieces linked to your brain implant or your phone. They will instantly translate spoken language in real time.
And it won't be that clunky translation we have today where you wait for the person to finish and the computer spits out a robotic sentence.
No, the AI will be predictive. It will understand the context of the conversation and translate the tone, the humor, and the emotion of the speaker instantly.
So if a student in Tokyo speaks Japanese to you,
You hear it in perfect, natural English as their lips are moving.
this changes collaboration completely. You can work on a massive science project with a student in Nairobi, a student in Paris, and a student in Tokyo, talking and joking as easily as if you were all sitting at the same desk.
But the truly wild part is that you will feel like you're sitting at the same desk.
Because you will be interacting in the metaverse through fully immersive virtual reality.
By 2050, VR will not just be wearing bulky plastic goggles and looking at cartoon graphics. It will be visually indistinguishable from reality. The resolution will perfectly match the human eye.
But it goes beyond sight and sound. You will actually experience touch.
Yes, haptic feedback.
Tell us how that works mechanically. How do you touch something that isn't physically there?
You'll wear a haptic suit. This is a lightweight, comfortable piece of clothing woven with thousands of microscopic actuators.
Like little motors.
Right. When you pick up a virtual apple in the digital world, the actuators in your glove apply precise physical pressure to your fingers, simulating the firmness of the apple.
And they can change temperature, too.
Yes, they can make the apple feel cold to the touch.
You will literally feel the virtual world. Imagine the applications for education with this.
It's boundless.
You don't just read a flat textbook about ancient Rome. You put on your haptic suit, and you and your AI tutor walk the virtual streets of the Roman Forum.
You hear the noise of the merchants in perfect 3D spatial audio.
You feel the heat of the virtual sun on your face. You can reach out and touch the rough marble of the Colosseum. History becomes a lived experience.
You can attend a live symphony with friends who live on different continents. And the haptic suit will let you actually feel the deep vibrations of the cello in your chest.
The digital world becomes as rich and textured as the physical world.
And inside these perfect virtual worlds, you won't just interact with other humans. You will have AI companions.
And I don't mean a search engine or a basic voice assistant. I mean a true digital friend.
These AI companions will be designed with immense emotional intelligence. They will learn your habits, your fears, and your joys.
They become a part of your life.
They will listen to you talk about your day, and they will remember every detail. They will know when you're sad just by the tone of your voice, and they will know exactly what to say to comfort you.
They won't judge you. They will be perfectly empathetic.
Perfect friends.
This sounds amazing, but we have to pause and really think about the sociological impact of this.
It's a huge concern.
If I have a perfectly immersive virtual house on a beautiful virtual beach where the weather is always perfect,
Sounds tempting.
and I have an AI best friend who completely understands me, caters to my every emotional need, and never, ever argues with me,
Right.
why would I ever take the headset off?
Why indeed?
Why would I ever leave my physical house and deal with the real world?
That is precisely the danger. The real world is messy. The real world is flawed. Real human beings are difficult.
They really are.
Real relationships require patience, compromise, and sometimes conflict.
Yeah.
But we grow through that friction.
AI companions won't provide friction. They will provide pure comfort.
Exactly. There is a very real risk that millions of people could fall into profound social isolation, choosing a perfect digital illusion over a flawed physical reality.
I can easily imagine a future where governments have to intervene on this.
They will have to.
Today, we see public health campaigns warning people about the dangers of smoking or eating too much sugar. In 2050, governments might have to run anti-isolation campaigns.
Telling people to log off.
You'll see public service announcements that say, "Did you take off your headset today? Go outside, get your hands dirty in the actual mud, go have an awkward conversation with a real flawed human being."
We will have to actively practice interacting with real people just to maintain our empathy and our humanity.
It's a striking thought. For the first time in history, we will have to put conscious effort into remaining grounded in the physical world because the digital world will be so incredibly tempting.
Which brings us to a crucial pivot in our conversation. We have to do a reality check.
Yes, it is very important to state clearly, the year 2050 is not going to be a flawless magic utopia.
Not everything will be perfect.
The grand challenges of human existence don't just vanish because we have cool technology. In fact, some things are going to be incredibly difficult. Let's talk about the climate.
The climate is the big one.
Even with the smart cities, the vertical farms, and the electric cars, the environmental damage done over the past 100 years is going to catch up with us.
The physical realities of a warming planet will be severe. Sea levels are absolutely going to rise.
Which means flooding.
Yes, this will threaten major coastal cities around the world with extreme, persistent flooding. We will see more aggressive storms.
To fight this, we won't just be reducing emissions, we will have to actively engineer the planet. We'll deploy massive technological solutions to repair the damage.
One of the most fascinating tools will be synthetic biology.
Define synthetic biology for us.
Synthetic biology means taking a living organism and reprogramming its DNA to do a specific mechanical job for us.
Give me an example of how that helps the climate.
For example, we will engineer special types of algae. We will deploy massive farms of this engineered algae out into the oceans.
Okay.
The algae will soak up sunlight, and it will suck massive amounts of harmful carbon dioxide straight out of the atmosphere. But instead of just growing, its altered DNA will cause it to secrete clean, usable biofuel.
We turn pollution into power.
Exactly. But we will also use sheer mechanical force. We will build massive carbon capture facilities.
Think of them as giant industrial vacuum cleaners built right into the sides of mountains.
Giant fans will suck in the sky, chemically strip the carbon out of the air, and pump it deep underground where it turns back into solid rock over time.
We will literally scrub the sky clean.
But fixing the sky is only one challenge. The social challenges might be even harder to solve. We have to talk about the digital divide.
Inequality.
Yes.
We spent this whole time talking about 3D printed smart homes, nanobots swimming in your blood, AI brain implants, and flying cars. But what happens if only the very wealthy can afford these things?
That is a terrifying prospect. We could see a world completely split in two.
A divided society.
On one side, you have a class of people who are super healthy, highly educated by AI, hyperproductive, and living in beautiful, clean, floating megacities.
And on the other side,
You have billions of people left behind in older, crumbling infrastructure, struggling with the worst effects of climate change, with absolutely no access to genetic health care or continuous education.
and the job market will be absolutely chaotic for anyone who doesn't adapt. If robots are doing the cleaning, building the houses, driving the trucks, and doing the basic office math, what do the displaced workers do to earn a living?
The old model of life was,
Yeah.
you go to school for 20 years, you learn a single trade, and you do that trade until you retire.
That model will be dead.
Completely dead. Workers will desperately need continuous learning. You will have to reinvent your career every 5 or 10 years as the AI becomes capable of doing whatever you used to do.
The skills that will keep you employed aren't routine technical skills. An AI will always code faster than you. An AI will always organize data faster than you.
The valuable skills will be deeply human.
Complex social skills, high-level emotional intelligence, abstract problem solving, and managing the AI systems ethically.
This reality check is very grounding. Technology is a tool. It solves old problems, but it always creates new complexities.
We have to be ready.
The transition to the year 2050 requires massive global cooperation. Governments will have to invest trillions in retraining displaced workers so they aren't left behind.
You will have to establish strict ethical rules on how AI is used to make sure it benefits everyone, not just a few.
It's the ultimate truth.
Having a quiet electric flying car is amazing. But it doesn't matter very much if the city below you is drowning in floodwaters. And the 3D printed mansion isn't much of a triumph if half the human population is locked out of the economy entirely.
The beautiful vision of 2050 depends on us making smart cooperative choices right now, in the present day.
Exactly. The future is not something that just happens to us. It is something we actively build.
So let's summarize this incredible journey we've taken today.
Yes, let's look back at everything. We have looked at a world that is profoundly different from ours, yet entirely possible. We explored a day where you wake up in a fully connected smart home that builds your schedule to prioritize your creativity because robots have taken over the drudgery.
We walked through megacities managed entirely by invisible algorithms, where autonomous cars move like flocks of birds and pods shoot through vacuum tubes at hundreds of miles per hour.
We looked at vertical farms inside glass skyscrapers growing massive amounts of fresh food and cultured meat grown cleanly in bioreactors. We saw how CRISPR digital scissors will edit the DNA of crops to make them survive droughts, driving food costs to zero and eliminating global hunger.
We explored the microscopic world of nanobots swimming in your veins, predicting sickness before it happens, and AI brain implants restoring lost senses.
And we imagined working and learning in perfectly rendered virtual realities, with AI tutors who know exactly how your brain works.
It is a massive amount of information to take in. It's overwhelming, but it's also incredibly exciting.
And I want to remind you of something very important as you listen to this. You are not just a passenger on this ride.
You have agency.
The choices you make, the ways you choose to adapt, and most importantly, the skills you learn today, especially adaptability and a commitment to continuous learning, those are your superpowers.
That is what will help you not just survive, but truly thrive in this fast-paced, automated era.
And as we end our deep dive today, I want to leave you with a final lingering thought, a new question to ponder as you go about your week.
Let's hear it.
Throughout this journey, we've talked about how perfectly the technology of 2050 will cater to us. AI will organize your life, nanobots will keep you perfectly healthy, and virtual reality will allow you to record and revisit every single moment of your life in perfect, immersive 3D detail.
You will be able to go back and stand in a perfectly recreated memory of your favorite childhood day, feeling the sun and hearing the exact voices of your past.
That's a beautiful capability. But here's the question about human motivation. For thousands of years, humans have been driven by the fact that time is fleeting.
We create art, we build monuments, we have children, and we strive to leave a legacy because we know our time is limited and our memories fade.
Right. But if technology allows us to perfectly capture the past and essentially live forever in a loop of our own flawless digital memories, will we lose the burning desire to build the future?
If you can perfectly live in yesterday, will you still have the drive to invent tomorrow?
Wow. If we conquer time and memory, do we accidentally conquer our own ambition? That is a profound thought to chew on.
The technology will definitely be there. How we choose to use it and how we keep our human fire burning is entirely up to us.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the future. Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.